What's up guys, Smith here, head trader at Platinum Trading, and in this video we're going to be doing a technical breakdown on a few trending forex pairs. Now the first pair that we're going to be looking at is NZD CAD. Now the purpose of this video is so that you guys can see how I go about my technical analysis, so that hopefully you can take something away from this video and implement it into your own trading styles. So to begin with, what I can see is a clear uptrend here that I'm going to highlight with the trend tool. If you'll forgive me, I need to change that from white to black. Okay, so as you can see, there was a substantial uptrend here that started around the start of November in 2019 and is broke to the downside just at the start of this year of 2020. So I also need to draw my Fibonacci retracement, and this simply highlights some key support and resistance levels within the current range high and the current range low. So I also need to change that from white to black so that you guys can see that a little bit more clearly. So as you can see, the top of my Fibonacci retracement starts at the range high, stems down to the range low down here. So if we zoom in a little bit more on the current sort of market price action that's been trending over the last few days instead of few months, so we get an overall picture of what's been happening recently, you'll see that there is a sideways channel that has formed. So if I rescale my chart, now that is another key tip, always rescale your chart. You can do that by either scrolling with your mouse wheel or clicking and dragging on the chart so that you get a bigger picture and more clear understanding of what's been happening by scaling your chart. So let's highlight the consolidation sideways channel that is clearly formed here. So you can see that there is 4 points of contact down here at the 0.86 level. You've got the first point of contact here, second point of contact here, and then you've got multiple points of contact here forming the support level there. So if I also highlight the resistance to the sideways channel, you can see that the resistance is more sort of uptrend. It's rising each peak here. We've got multiple points of contact, either 4 or 5 here, which definitely confirms this sideways channel quite a bit. So recent price action within the last week of trading, you can see that price levels tested the support and then also pumped. We saw quite a successful rise here that took price levels up at least sort of 100 pips there. So we can see started down at 0.861 all the way up to 0.87, which is around 90 pips there. So that's the range low to the range high of this consolidation channel. You can see the 200 EMA is sitting slap bang in the middle of the consolidation channel. You can see the price level is slightly rejecting the overhead. So I do expect next week that we will see some downward momentum that comes back to this 200 EMA and presents ourselves a short opportunity here, rejecting that overhead resistance. So just to recap on NZD CAD, in the last week we have seen a bounce from the bottom of this consolidation channel, resulting in a 90 pip move to the upside, testing the resistance line here. If we go on the 4 hour and we zoom out a little bit more, you can see that in the last few months there was a key uptrend that was broken. So ideally I'm actually looking to catch a short on this consolidation sideways channel that brings price levels back down to perhaps sort of the range previous range high down here that I've just highlighted with my red horizontal ray tool, which typical of many markets, you'll see that, you know, as uptrends break, that price action will come back down and meet a prior range high before the breakout point. So that's what I'm looking for next week, is to catch a short from this consolidation channel back down to where this red ray is here. Next up we have GBP USD. So I'm going to start again by looking at the overall trend as opposed to just the last few weeks, because it gives us a better idea for reference when we do zoom in on the current market price action. So as you can see, throughout last year, May, June and July, there was quite a sharp downtrend that formed, that broke to the upside throughout sort of September, just before the end of last year, that saw quite a large pump, again with a new uptrend forming. So now if I zoom into sort of the more recent price action that's been happening within the last few months, you can see that there has been ascending support that has formed here with multiple points of contact. Now that is a key thing that I look for when I'm drawing my rising support or resistance lines, there has to be at least 3 points of contact, and as you can see here, there's a minimum of 4 or 5 here, so that validates this uptrend quite significantly. So for reference here, we have an ascending support. Now if we zoom in a little bit more for sort of price action that's been happening within the last few weeks, you can see again that in conjunction with the rising support, we now have a descending resistance line. There was one here that broke to the upside, and then we have more of an elongated resistance line. So the first one, as you can see, broke to the upside and then came back and retested that support and breakout point. Now that is very typical of chart patterns like this triangle that's been highlighted. When there is a breakout, price level likes to come back and retest any support line just to kind of validate it and essentially fuel up for the move ahead. So as you can see, that's what's happened here. Now if we continue to zoom in a little bit more, you can see there has been another breakout of the more elongated resistance line that has broken out just in the last week alone, which we caught this trade in Platinum Telegram for a 120 plus pip move, which is absolutely outstanding. I hope you guys got in on that trade. So as you can see, market price has begun to pull back. Now I think that was due to fundamental news that came out on today, which is Friday the 24th. Now I'm not too sure what that news was, but I did see some news came out for GBP, so perhaps that has influenced market price here, as it is taking a pullback here after making a large wick to the upside. So for next week, I'll be looking for a continuation of a downtrend that comes back and meets this sort of 200 EMA moving average here. Perhaps it retests the breakout point before curling back up and continuing an uptrend similar to what happened here.